if we shifted just slightly?
Well, like right now, the podium and the drum group are centered.
Excellent, yeah.
So,
Good morning, everyone. First of all, thank each and every one of you for coming out on such a cold day to celebrate the ceremony of the flag raising for Treaty 1 at the municipal office. It is with great honor and pride that we stand before you today to commemorate a significant moment in our history. Today we gather here to raise the Treaty 1 flag, a symbol of unity, respect, and reconciliation. Raising of the Treaty 1 flag signifies a commitment to mutual understanding, cooperation, and the shared responsibility to build a better future for all. As we raise this flag, let us remember the importance of acknowledging and honoring the land on which we stand. Gimli is located on Treaty 1 territory, the traditional lands of the Anishinaabe, including the Cree, Oji-Cree, Dakota, Dene people, and the homeland of the Métis Nation. We must recognize and respect the inherent rights and contributions of Indigenous peoples, both past and present. This ceremony is not just a symbolic gesture, it is a call to action. It is a reminder that we must work together to create a society that is inclusive, equitable, and just. We must strive to build a strong relationship based on trust, understanding, and respect. Let us commit ourselves to the process of reconciliation, to learning from the past, and to building a future where all people can thrive. We would like to express our gratitude to the Treaty 1 Nation for their partnership and collaboration in organizing this ceremony. We would also like to thank the community members who have come together to make this event possible. May this flag serve as a constant reminder of our shared responsibility to uphold the principles of the treaty, to honor the land, and to work towards a future of unity and harmony. Thank you for being part of this flag raising ceremony where the Treaty 1 flag will be raised with pride and hope for a brighter tomorrow. This speech that I had today, usually I don't read out, but with council, the importance of it is they wanted it read out today so that it could be posted online for each and every one of you to have from the event today and to pass on to people. So over the years, something like this, that it's widely available, widely read, and shows how proud of a community we are with being here today. We'd like to start off today with a prayer, and we have today James Sinclair, Treaty 1 Knowledge Keeper Council from Peguis First Nation. And we call upon James Sinclair to say the prayer.
Thank you. What a wonderful day and and a momentous occasion to see all the people here. I'll do a very short prayer in Ojibwe, and then I'd like to talk quite a bit on the occasion. Miigwech Getchimanatu, Ea Gaji Gumajine. What I'm doing, I thank you, Creator, for all the things you have given us. And today you're giving us another tremendous opportunity to be recognized for what we've been through and the occasion here. I look at Gimli, and I was born just 3 miles north of Selkirk on what used to be St. Peter's Reserve. And we still have, Peguis still has some land right at the beginning of the lake. It's called our fishing station, or Salamoniac. And I look at Gimli as not only a friend to Treaty 1, but we look at all the kinship and partnership and interaction that we have with all the bands around that come into the Great Lake, the Great Prairie Lake that we have, Lake Winnipeg. And there's so many of them, like everything from Saugeen, Hollow Water, Barons River, Poplar River, Norway House, Fisher River. Unfortunately, like with Peguis now, we're not right on the lake. So, but so this flag could be many flags for all the different treaties that it represents along the lake. Yeah, so this, when I say we thank our Creator for all the things He has given us, this is another tremendous occasion of two this week that we had. We went to, 2 days ago, we went to Arthur E. Wright School in Winnipeg, in which 100 students demanded that they put up the Treaty 1 flag, and they demanded an equal height for, instead of having a flagpole on the side of a building, they demanded equality for Treaty 1 flag, and that was so important to us to listen to the kids, young people, grade 7, 8, and some of them were in grade 9. And so I look at what, I look with great pride and humility on what the people of Gimli and the kids of Arthur E. Wright School have done. And when they, so many people talk about truth and reconciliation, and what I see here in Gimli is a reconciliation. With that, I thank you.
Representing Peguis First Nation is Councillor Donna Sutherland.
Good morning, everyone. I just would like to welcome all the honored guests and also our elders and our youth that are present, and also the Township of Gimli. I appreciate your invitation. I bring remarks this afternoon on behalf of the Treaty 1 Nations and Peguis First Nation. Chief Stanley Bird, who unfortunately could not make it today, sends his utmost regrets. I would like to thank the delegates and guests, James Sinclair, Treaty 1 Knowledge Keepers Council, for the opening prayers. Also, Gimli Mayor Kevin Chudd, Heavenly Martins, Treaty 1 Promise Keepers Council representative for Broken Head Ojibwe Nation, Political Liaison Dennis Wiper, I believe it might be Ovid that's here, Assembly of Manitoba Chiefs, Treaty 1 Commissioner Loretta Ross, Treaty Relations Commission of Manitoba, and the Honorable Ian Bushy, Manitoba MLA for Keewatin and Cabinet Minister of Municipal and Northern Relationships, Minister of Indigenous Economic Development. Also, I would like to thank Walking Wolf Singers Drum Group and Ray Coco Stevenson for the flag song ceremony. I would like to acknowledge the Gimli Council as well as the citizens of Gimli for the inclusiveness in respecting our cultural practices and protocols as Anishinaabe's people. As a fundamental part of the reconciliatory journey, Treaty Number 1 was signed in 1871 at the Lower Fort Garry. Among it is many promises. It was written to last as long as the sun shines and the river flows and the grass grows. The Treaty 1 flag incorporates the original spirit and intent of the treaties. The green represents the grass, and the blue represents the waters. The yellow represents the sun, and the red represents the circle of life, and the red people who inhabit the land. The 7 points around the sun represents the 7 First Nations who are signatory to Treaty Number 1. Broken Head Ojibwe Nation, Long Plain First Nation, Peguis First Nation, Rosa River Anishinaabe First Nation, Saugeen First Nation, Sandy Bay Ojibwe First Nation, and Swan Lake First Nation. The Treaty Number 1 First Nations have always held their own jurisdictional and physical powers, despite the fact that they were not always honored by our treaty partners. These promises are inherent obligation of all levels of government. We were and always will be sovereign nations with our own fundamental jurisdictions, rights, and powers. Reconciliation is about honoring these relationships And to raise this flag alongside those of our partners is a true fact of reconciliation in action. It is an honor to be here today to recognize and strengthen those crucial relationships. I would also like to acknowledge all of those relatives who are with us today despite the centuries of attempts to erase our cultures and our languages and our ways of life. We still stand strong, and we still stand proud. Every location that this flag is raised by our treaty partners is yet another reminder that we are still here and we are not going anywhere. I hope that through these actions, others may follow suit and pass on these important lessons of how and why this country has become what it is today, and of the sacrifices that were made for all of us to be able to share Turtle Island in this way. I hope that the presence of this flag will inspire all the citizens of Gimli to work towards the greater good for all who share this territory, and today and in the future. Miigwech, thank you all for coming.
Next, we have Heavenly Martins, Treaty 1 Promise Keepers Council, Broken Head, Ojibwe Nation.
I won't be too long because it's freezing. But hello, good morning, afternoon. My name is Heavenly. I am also known as Bright Butterfly Woman from the Wolf Clan. I'm a proud member of the Broken Head Ojibwe Nation and the Treaty 1 Promise Keepers Youth Council. So I'd like to start off by first thanking James Sinclair for the opening prayer, as well as Gimli for inviting us to this wonderful community to raise the Treaty 1 flag and move forward on the path of reconciliation together. My grandparents used to bring me and my sister here a lot when I was younger, so Gimli holds a special place in my heart, so it's extra special for me to be here today, and it's truly a privilege to do that alongside all of these wonderful people here. Ooh, sorry. It's hard to put into words like just how much stuff like this means to me. You know, growing up, I wasn't connected to my culture or my community, and so it was very lonely growing up with no real sense of identity. So it's quite healing for that inner child in me, and I'm sure for a lot of people here to see stuff like this and to be acknowledged in this way. And I just can't wait to come here with my children and be like, look at that, we did it. You know, we're still here. And I just want to end with, let's continue to work together to create change and to create a brighter, more positive future for everyone. Thank you.
Next, we have, on behalf of Grand Chief Kathy Merrick, who's unable to attend today's Assembly of Manitoba Chiefs, former National Chief, and who I've known for many years, very dear friend, Ovid Mercredi. Thank you very much. Thank you.
You sure have a very tough mayor, eh? Anybody have earmuffs for him? Anyway, as your mayor said, I am here to say what the Grand Chief wanted to say, and she sends her regrets. So I'll just read out her statement. Good morning, everyone. I am honored to be here in the beautiful Treaty 1 territory with all of you. Before I begin, I would like to thank James Sinclair for the opening prayer. And I'd like to acknowledge the people from Treaty 1 and the leaders who are here representing themselves. Thank you, Mayor Judd, for inviting the Assembly of Manitoba Chiefs to participate in today's flag raising ceremony. I would also like to recognize Treaty Commissioner Loretta Ross, and the Honorable Ian Bushy, Manitoba MLA for Kiwetinoik, and Cabinet Minister of Municipal and Northern Relations, and the Minister of Indigenous Economic Development. Your presence here today is greatly appreciated. In an era defined by reconciliation, today's flag raising ceremony is a source of immense pride for First Nations in this region. It is such a gift to see the growing representation of First Nations in public spaces. In November last year, students at the Arthur E. Wright School in Winnipeg requested the installation of the Treaty 1 flag alongside the Canadian flag. My hands are frozen already. And earlier this week, in ceremony, the Treaty 1 flag was raised, marking Arthur E. Wright as the first school in the Maples area to proudly display both flags. To witness this profound shift in national discourse is truly inspiring, because I can recall a time when the shift seemed unimaginable. The hearts of all people, young and old, are waking up. I am so grateful to be here to experience it. So I encourage each of you to remember that reconciliation goes beyond symbolism and land acknowledgements. It requires structural and societal changes that will allow for full restitution of First Nations sovereignty, including the complete implementation of our inherent and treaty rights. Because reconciliation demands that you embrace the responsibility to look beyond the present, you can see and understand the histories and the ongoing issues that impact First Nations today. And with that, may this flag remind us of our sacred obligation to care for each other and to be better relatives to one another, because reconciliation happens when we move forward together, just as it is happening here today in your community. And we thank you for that. That's your speech.
Next, we have Treaty Commissioner Loretta Ross, Treaty Relations Commission of Manitoba.
You can wear my gloves while I'm here and warm up your hands. Thank you very much, and thank you all for coming and staying and listening to all of us share some words with you. It's truly an honor to be here today. I want to thank the elder for his prayer and for starting us off in a really good way. And I want to thank all the previous speakers before me who spoke so eloquently about the significance of the day and why we're gathered here. I'm from Hollow Water, which is across the lake, and come from a family where there's some fishers. And my relative here, Ian, also comes from the similar background. And we have a lot of connection to Gimli. Gimli is in an area that has that connection to the south, but also to the east and to the north. And it's really important to have this happen here today, because it signifies, I think, a change in the relationship between the people of Gimli and those that surround it in a good way, in a positive way. I want to acknowledge these lands that were the ancestral lands of the Anishinaabe and the Innuit since time began, and who through the treaties allowed for the sharing of these lands to people that were escaping other places to come here and to live and to be who they are and who they want to be, and do it safely on these lands. And sometimes I think we forget about that. We forget about how and things were made possible for us to live when we can go now back to the comfort of our warm, comfortable living rooms after this and enjoy what we have today. But we have to remember that original relationship and why that was allowed to be, and it was the First Peoples on these lands, that opened their hearts. And I know in the museum there's a wonderful history here about the relations between the First Nations people and the settlers in this area, or one in particular that I know of. And it blossomed from that point. So there's a rich history on these territories, and we have to remember that it didn't just start when the town of Gimli was incorporated, right? We have to go back and honor these lands, and when we do that, we honor the people on these lands as well. So the land sharing and the respect, I think that came with that, the reciprocity and the mutuality. We haven't always been good at doing that, and I think this will signify that. To think that the power of a flag, we think we're raising it up and it's not really making a huge impact, but it is when you consider, at the time of first contact and the stabbing of a flag in the land and the declaration of these lands as being belonging to England and other places. There was power in doing that. Power to the effect that it affected the lives detrimentally for many of the First Nations and original peoples. So there's tremendous power in this flag. It's not a simple act of raising it or bringing it down at different times and different events. There's really power in being able to see that up there, because it shows how we've come together as community, how we no longer live separate from Indigenous and non-Indigenous people, that we are all part of community, we're all neighbors, and it's part of that treaty responsibility that we look after each other and make sure we're each doing well. So with that, I want to thank you and hope that this flag serves as a reminder of that unity, the unity of bringing people together, and the shared responsibility as well of looking out for each other. It truly is an opportunity for us to stand together with pride and recognizing the strength that comes from the diversity and mutual respect. So thank you very much. Rich. Oh, you didn't, Michael.
I did, Mayor. Thank you very much. Okay. I'd like to call upon the Honorable Ian Boushie, Manitoba MLA and Cabinet Minister responsible for Municipal and Northern Relations, Minister of Indigenous Economic Development. Thank you for taking the time to come here today.
Speakers are getting taller and taller as we go, and redder as we go, by the way. Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to share a few words, and I'd like to begin by acknowledging the land acknowledgement and the opening prayer that was shared this morning. It's a great way for us to start the day, and traditionally that's how, as Anishinaabe people, we begin our days, we begin our events, and we begin our times of sharing together. I'd like to thank the community of Gimli for the opportunity and the invitation to participate today in the flag raising ceremony, and for myself to bring greetings and words on behalf of the Manitoba government and our Premier, Wab Kinew, our First Nations Premier of Manitoba, which was history making in itself. The beautiful lake town of Gimli is a treasure destination for many Manitobans. Whether to cool down at the beach, I know it's a little bit awkward to say that here today, or to bundle up to ice fish in the winter, or even to attend events like the Gimli International Film Festival. There is something here for everyone. After today, Gimli will also be known for something very, very important as well. Its commitment to advance reconciliation here in Manitoba. Today's flag raising event is a powerful symbol of the town's commitment to honor the First Peoples of these lands. And I've had the opportunity to meet with Mayor Chud and Council just over the last couple of weeks as well. And the word reconciliation came up many, many times, Indigenous reconciliation, in that discussions as it pertained to almost every aspect of what Gimli has to offer to Manitoba. So we support Gimli's efforts to promote reconciliation. Local initiatives in honor of Indigenous lives lost and buried in unmarked graves brought attention to the tragic realities of the residential school system. Events held to recognize Orange Shirt Day, for example, including inviting elders to share their experiences with non-Indigenous Manitobans, demonstrate the importance of having time to listen, learn, and reflect. Our government will remain a partner to Gimli and to all municipalities across the province, work with you to advance truth and reconciliation right here at home in your community. This work has already begun on our behalf as well. Our government passed the Orange Shirt Day Act, establishing September 30th, the National Day for Truth and Reconciliation, as a provincial statutory holiday here in the province of Manitoba. This will give more Manitobans the opportunity to take time to listen to the stories and lived experiences and recognize the resilience of residential school survivors. We know the path ahead won't be easy, But as our Premier says time and time again, we can do hard things when we do them together. As the Minister of Municipal Northern Relations, I look forward to working together to further strengthen municipalities and to advance truth and reconciliation here in Manitoba. And on a personal note, as Treaty Commissioner Leonard Ross had mentioned about us being family, when you talk about family, sometimes you talk about family as a community, but we truly are family. Our fathers are brothers. And I too come from Hollow Water, which is directly across, well, not maybe a little bit northeast, but across the lake here. And we share very similar backgrounds to the communities of Gimli as well, commercial fishing being one. So I was at home this morning in Treaty 5 territory in Hollow Water. And where I'm standing now, I live closer to the lake than where I'm standing here now. So I take great pride in being able to have this connection to our area and our communities. And when we talk about reconciliation, we don't just talk about reconciliation as a buzzword or a cause of the day. It's truly reconciliation in action. And Manitoba as a whole truly advanced reconciliation just this past October. And I'm proud to stand here as a symbol of that reconciliation in action as well, being able to elect a number of Indigenous and First Nations people to the Manitoba government, to now sit in cabinet, so we can have these discussions wholesomely across all of Manitoba. So to me, that was a strong voice and a strong sign from the people all over Manitoba about wanting and the desire for a need for reconciliation here in Manitoba. So I'm honored to be able to participate here in a very small way to the flag raising ceremony, and to be able to know that we're standing here in Gimli making history in regards to the steps towards reconciliation. And this is a step. This isn't the end of the journey, because the journey is ongoing and will continue to be ongoing for millennia. So I'd like to thank Mayor Chud for the invite. I'd like to acknowledge everybody for coming out here today, and I appreciate you. Miigwech.
At this time, for the flag raising ceremony, we have the flag smudging ceremony.
Smells weird.
Coming? You guys want to come?
I'm gonna warm up and then start taking it.
Everyone is also invited afterwards to the Gimli Rec Center for a feast lunch. And feel free to get in for the picture, and we'll have pictures that will be available if anyone would want a copy after.
Wait, where we looking?
Right there.
Wait, right there first.
Ready?
Yes. 3, 2, 1. 1, 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3.
Treaty one.
Frozen.
Perfect. Thank you. A big thank you to everybody who participated today. Our Public Works, Councillor Thora and Councillor Kurt for coming, and all the youth, administration. We'll see you all shortly at the rec center. There's lunch for everyone. Thank you for coming, and to the RCMP for being here today too.